Hey guys, we are back in the workshop and today we are going to start a new video series, and that is going to be the one-day build. So I'm going to build that knife in a whole day, and in the end we have a really cool knife. So you can recreate that knife if you want to in your own workshop, if you have some free time. So let's get started on that. Alright, so here I have like the rough design that I'm going to aim for. It's going to be like a camping, outdoor, survival kind of knife, and I also want to try a new grind on this one. So instead of like a saber grind, I also want to add a little of a convex grind to the knife in the end. So we are going to start cutting out this design, placing it onto the steel, and then we're going to cut it out. Alright, so the knife is traced now onto the steel. The steel that I'm going to use is going to be 01 tool steel. And now I'm going to hit into my grinding room, take the angle grinder to it and cut the rough profile out. And then I'm going to do the final profiling on the bolt grinder, and after that we are going to do the rest of the work. Alright, so the knife is now profiled, and now we have to put in the holes, because after the heat treat we won't be able to drill into the steel because it will be really hard. So let's mark these holes and get to grinding. So the knife is now ready to be ground pre-heat treatment. So we don't want to remove too much material, but we want to remove some material so we have it easier after the heat treat. I've also added some center lines to the knife so I have a reference point where to grind to. pre-grind is done now. Now we're going to heat treat the knife, and that will give us the toughness and the edge retention that we need. After the heat treat, we're going to finish the grind, thin down the knife edge, and then we can apply the handle to the knife. So the knife is now out of the tempering and heat treating cycles. Now we can finish the grind. For grinding after heat treatment, I would always recommend fresh belts and lowering down your speed on the grinder so you don't overheat the knife edge and ruin your knife in the end. So let's get started on grinding this knife. The handle scales are now prepped. The screws are countersunk into the handle material, and now we can rough profile the handle and then make the classic Forgeworks rock patterning onto this knife. So let's get started with that. So the knife is now sandblasted and ready for my stonewash edge. So we are going to darken this knife down in ferrochloride. Of course you can apply different kind of finishes. I could send that off now to get Cerakoted. You could make a satin finish to it. You could do all sorts of kind of finishes, but the stonewash finish is kind of the fastest and it looks really, really nice. If you don't have a sandblasting cabinet like I have, you can just polish it up with Scotch-Brite, hand sanding. You can do all sorts of kind of things to that knife. I just wanted to show you how good you can spend your day or night working on one knife and get one knife maybe done in like a week if you have like a couple of hours each night and working on this knife. So let's stop talking and get this knife done. Alright guys, so the knife is done and sharp, and as you have seen before, 4.5 hours, that is a pretty good weekend. We could now do a sheath for it, that would be maybe another hour for you, for me a little bit faster, because I have a lot of experience with that. But I just want to show you with this series what you can do on just a weekend. Maybe you don't have as many tools as I have, so maybe you need a little bit longer, but that's how I started. I started with a file and an angle grinder and a really cheap belt grinder, and I still had a lot of fun, and now I'm standing in my knife workshop making cool knives in 4, 5, 6 hours. So this is just an example of what you can do in your free time, especially when you're interested in knife making. So guys, stay tuned for more projects like that. I want to do more 4, 5 hours videos about that. They will be 10 minutes long, but the whole time will be roughly 4 to 5 hours. So you can go out, rebuild this knife, post it on Instagram, show it to me what you've built in roughly the same time. So if you're interested in more kind of content like that, feel free to subscribe. If you have any questions, drop them down below into the comments, and I'm trying to answer them as quickly as possible. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see us next time.